Now soon, millions of people around the world will celebrate Christmas, and they'll look to Bethlehem as the place where Jesus was born. But some scholars cast doubt on whether Jesus was ever born there. They claim the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem does not mark the place where he was born. So next, we're going to travel to the city of Bethlehem to investigate that question. We talked with Jewish archaeologist Dr. Gabriel Barkai, who was awarded the Distinguished Prize for Archaeology in Israel. We asked him what archaeologists have discovered about the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem and the site upon which it sits.
Following the 6 Days War, some archaeologists had studied the site of the Church of Nativity and found out that it is right on top of the ancient mound or ancient hill of early Bethlehem. Bethlehem of First Temple period, of the Davidic dynasty's time, and Bethlehem of the time of Jesus was built right on the site where today the complex of the Church of Nativity is built. Excavations by the Italian scholar, the late Father Bellarmino Bagatti, revealed under the complex of the church a series of caves. Most of the caves were dwellings of antiquity. So it is very much plausible that we deal, in the case of the Church of Nativity, with a real site which existed in the time of Jesus.
Now, if you enter into the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem, the guide will take you down some stairs and show you a cave. Archaeologists have discovered that at the time of Jesus, people in Bethlehem built their houses to make provision for the occasional guest. Most homes were multi-leveled. They had a lower room or cellar that was usually used as a storeroom. In areas like Bethlehem, where there were caves, a cave beneath the house or in back of the house would be used as a storeroom for food or supplies. It could also be a place where the family animals would be fed and sheltered at night. They would be protected from the cold, thieves, and predators. When Joseph and his pregnant wife Mary made the journey to Bethlehem, they were returning to his ancestral home, the place from which his family originated and where undoubtedly some relatives still lived. In Jewish society in Jesus' day, the family was made up of an extended group of people with a patriarch at the head. Married children and their children usually lived with or near the father and mother. Relatives from other towns were welcomed by the patriarch and brought under his protection during their stay in his village. Dr. Hillel Giva is an archaeologist who has worked on some of the most important archaeological excavations in Jerusalem since 1967 and is editor of the leading Hebrew journal on biblical archaeology. Here is an example of a rich man's house that was excavated in Jerusalem that had 2 or 3 guest rooms.
Well, we are in a house from the 1st century AD, one of the largest buildings that were uncovered in the Jewish quarter. This is a model of the house we are in. Courtyard is where we are standing now. This is the courtyard, all paved, square, surrounded by many, many rooms. The living rooms are here, 2 or 3 stories high, mosaic floors, wall painting, stone tables, very wealthy construction of those days. Here down below, the courtyard surrounded by the service wings, where the servants used to live, washrooms, all kind, mikvahs, ritual baths, and all kinds of storerooms. Also, we're down here in this wing.
Now notice, in a wealthier home like this, a 3rd room or even a 4th room would be added for guests and for entertaining. The word for guest room is the Greek word kataluma. It is also sometimes translated inn. Luke used this word in the Christmas story in chapter 2 when he wrote, "And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the kataluma," the guest room, the inn. Here Luke is probably referring to the 3rd room, the guest room in the family home in Bethlehem. Kataluma is the same word used by Luke in chapter 22 to refer to the upper room where Jesus had the Last Supper. It too was a guest room in a home. Luke uses a different word in the parable of the Good Samaritan to describe the inn where the Good Samaritan took the man who was robbed. These facts may shed new light on the circumstances surrounding Jesus' birth.